Hi, and welcome back to Thone's Nibbles number 132, covering Romans chapter 15, Paul's opinion of the Roman believers. First of all, I want to give you a brief apology. I normally record these nibbles 7 at a time, back to back, and at the end of the last one, which was the 5th of the 7, the battery ran out on the camera, and so I now have the camera is plugged into AC power and is charging the battery and also recording this lesson. This may or may not, and I never have been able to figure out when it does and when it doesn't, cause a bit of a hum in the background of the audio. So if you hear that, please bear with me. This is a very busy day of recording. I have not only these 7 to do, but also one of Thone's thoughts, which is a much longer lesson, to be recorded today. And so I can't afford to wait till the battery charges again, which takes 2 or 3 hours. So I hope that this won't be a problem for you, and I hope it's not even there. Just wanted to mention that if it's a humming, that's why. This comes from Romans 15, verses 14 and 15. Now I myself am confident concerning you, my brethren, that you also are full of goodness, with all knowledge able to admonish one another. Nevertheless, brethren, I have written more boldly to you on some points, as reminding you because of the grace given to me by God. This basically is Paul praising the Roman believers for being able to deal with difficult doctrine. So why is this in the Bible? It teaches us to deal with difficult doctrine. Okay? It's written to believers. Communications, teaching and study are important. And that's, virtually anything that's worthwhile doing is worthwhile studying how to do it better. And that is certainly true in God's doctrine to His people. Application to my life. No matter how mature the Christian is, he can learn more by hearing, reading, and studying another's understanding. Also, this points out that all this knowledge is nothing without God's grace. We can't, to try to study some of the more difficult doctrines of Christianity without being a Christian, that is, without believing, is at best very tedious and for the most part not possible. People cannot understand the doctrines of God sometimes until they are understanding the knowledge, that they understand belief. They have belief in what's going on, and God then turns on a certain higher level of understanding for the people who are saved, and therefore they can understand some of the more difficult doctrines which seem like so much gobbledygook to an unbeliever. God to me, teaching and study are very important in discipleship, and that I think that should be obvious to most of us, that if we are trying to take someone else under our wing and teach them the doctrines of Christ, then us knowing and studying them first is an important part of that. And my personal response to this one is, Lord, help me be a better student and teacher of the truth by your grace, because His grace is what allows us to understand those things. And so trying to teach these without His grace is difficult, likely impossible. But and that's why it's funny, those people who are unbelievers and ridicule believers based on their study of the Bible, no wonder they do that, because they don't understand what they have read in the Bible. So that's Paul here was actually quite complimentary to the Roman believers, that they were willing to think about and discuss difficult doctrine as well as simple doctrine. This is a compliment. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.